Chat, what are you guys doing if you found a dead body? What's the first reaction?
As soon as they got in the door, they began filming
walking
TikTok.
away. So no one's just gonna call 911.
Yo, what is my cat is a dog, but my dog wants to be a cat, and I told my pet alligator to stop eating my cat that wants to be a dog, and my pet fish drowned. Smiling face with tear emoji. Smiling face with tear emoji.
What are you talking about? Yeah, welcome back to another reaction with Henry Rex, aka 911. What's good? And today we have the internet's darkest corners 6. Let's get into it.
Fifth alarm. Working structure fire. 7741 Liberty Road Drive.
It's 9 a.m. on May 18th, 2024. Residents of Charlotte, North Carolina wake up to the smell and sight of black smoke billowing up into the sky. The source: a massive 7-story apartment complex, home to 239 luxury units, or at least what should have been luxury units. At the time, the structure was still under construction, meaning that thankfully no residents were living there. But this in and of itself presented 2 major problems. The first was that, in its current state, the top 5 floors were primarily just the bones of the structure, made almost entirely of wood and insulation, making the building as a whole extremely flammable. Meaning that, although the fire had started out relatively small, it was quickly going to consume the entire complex if it wasn't put out quickly. Which brings us to the second and even more glaring problem. The building was actively under construction when the fire started, and that morning 17 construction workers had clocked in, all of whom were now in grave danger. And by the time
Bro, ain't no way 17 people are about to die.
Yo, what is my cat is a dog, but my dog wants to be a cat, and I told my pet alligator to stop eating my cat that wants to be a dog, and my pet fish drowned. Smiling face with tear emoji. Smiling face with tear emoji.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What? Tanti.
the firefighters arrived on the scene, the situation was already dire. And so firefighters rushed in, finding a large group of the employees and leading them out to safety.
You think you're so
Though
funny,
when they made it
Tanti?
outside, they made the horrifying realization that they had only found 15 of them. Somewhere within that labyrinth of burning wooden walls, 2 men were left behind, trapped and calling out to anyone who might hear them. And these pleas weren't just being made to those on the scene, as in the following minutes, one of the trapped men, 30-year-old DeMonte Sherrill, would take out his phone, open up Facebook, and go live.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Literally, he could have did anything. He could have used his brain power to find a way to get down. Instead, he pulls out his phone. What has humanity come to? And worse, he didn't even live stream Twitch. He went straight to the book,
revealing the horrifying reality that both he and
that
his
place
friend
is haunted.
had found
Facts,
themselves
Bachi.
in.
Appreciate you, Josette. Appreciate you. Why would you? Okay, chat. Like, realistically speaking, would you try and find a way out, or would you pull out your phone?
It's okay at J0Z.
No,
It's
skip.
okay at J0Z. It's 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 okay at J0Z.
No.
Yo.
One more time, and you're going to get timed out, buddy.
Now, at work, the building on fire.
Wait,
and I can't get out.
he
The
actually
stream
like
showed DeMonte Sherrill
South
and his
Park?
friend Reuben Holmes somewhere deep within the prospective apartment complex. And though the fire hadn't yet reached them, the smoke certainly had, blanketing them in a thick, impenetrable fog, not only making breathing extremely difficult, but also making it nearly impossible for rescuers to see them.
It's getting harder and harder for them to see us. We're gonna have to stand out here and see.
Bruh.
The building on fire.
Kels, like, wait, you've like seen this, like, on the book? You saw this video? Are you serious? Was this like a big thing? I've never heard of this. Was this a big thing? This is very sad, by the way. This is extremely sad because if he dies, like dies on the book, you know what I'm saying? that was his last digital footprint, that's a very sad way. Like, if I pass away, I don't want anyone to actually know how, like, I don't want people to have no visuals. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my mom to be able to see how I passed away, because that's heartbreaking. I don't want my daughter to see how I passed away. That's very heartbreaking. And the fact that it's family, why is my point not working? I don't know. I don't know.
Trapped inside me and my man.
There's things that I still have to, don't ban them. But there's things I still have to like figure out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's the first stream back. My PC just got built 5 hours ago, right? So there's still certain things that aren't working. So we're working with it. It'll work next stream. Appreciate you though.
This was likely one of the reasons why DeMonte chose to start this live stream, hopeful that it could show rescuers exactly where they were. But based on the footage, their positioning was far from ideal. They were on the second highest floor, floor 6, which had only one access point, a single stairway that was on the complete opposite side of the building. And based on their testimony in the footage, something had clearly blocked their path to that one remaining exit, meaning that the only other way out would be to jump, though at 6 stories in the air and falling into...
Y'all jumping? Y'all jumping? Y'all jumping? I might take that risk to jump. Or I might like crawl over it. Like say, okay, there's no wall, right? So I'm going to go like this, try and go like this, go down, and then go to the 5th floor, and then like try to do some parkour shit. Like if I fall, I die. But if I just jump, I die. If not, I stay on the 6th floor, I'm gonna suffocate from the smoke. I'm jumping, trust fall, Jesus, take the wheel. Facts,
what would likely be the heart of the fire. This would have meant certain death.
Take the wheel.
There was quite literally nowhere for them to go. Rescue was their only hope.
I'm not jumping, I'm just gonna aura clip. What do you mean you're going to aura clip? What do you mean you're going to aura clip? He said, I'll be making TikToks. I'm crying. I was at 17K and now I'm at 13. In order to get the other clip, I need to redeem more points. No worries, no worries, no worries. I'm not scamming though. Never that. Do I look like a scammer? Do I look Ethiopian? Annyeonghaseyo.
Yo, this building is on fire. I'm at work. Somebody send help. We're in South Park.
Seemingly realizing this, DeMonte began to grow more desperate, yelling out into the void of smoke, while Ruben can be seen in the background waving his phone flashlight, with both men doing anything they could to help rescuers find them. Before...
This is actually very sad. This is actually very sad.
The stream abruptly ends. Rescuers were aware of the unfolding situation on the 6th story. They first tried to reach the men by using a massive crane with a basket attached, which can actually be seen in DeMonte's livestream. Though in it, you can see that it's also facing the complete wrong direction, as the smoke was just that impenetrable. However, at one point...
Bro, it literally cut on them like that? It literally cut on them like that? Yes, because you told me I need to redeem more points? No, I'm saying that you gotta like use more points. You know what I'm saying? You gotta use them. If you wanted me to sing another song, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta redeem the points, you know? Or not redeem, but use them. But not right now. Let's get the reaction out first.
Did actually see these men, but the blaze was just too extreme, leading to the operator himself having to be rescued. This left only one real option for saving DeMonte and Ruben. They were going to have to go in after them. And so they climbed that stairway up to floor 6 and started their trek to the opposite end of the structure. Though before they could even make it halfway, the rescuers were relegated to a slow crawl as the inferno around them raged more and more intensely, and the smoke grew thicker and thicker. Though that's when they began to hear screaming.
Why is he streaming? What do you mean? Who's streaming? What? I got 9K channel points. Appreciate you, Bachi. Appreciate you. I told you I'd send you lyrics for the same song. Damn, but you should have sent it all at once. You know what I'm saying? You got to do it in conjunction. It got to be simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? It got to be some cohesiveness to it. You can't redeem it and then 5 minutes later tell me the song. You know what I'm saying? And then send me a song with no lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be in conjunction, like a duo. You know what I'm saying? It got to be salsa and tango. No mango.
Somewhere lost in that maze, Ruben and DeMonte were yelling as loud as they could for help. This sound was a sign that they were getting close. Though just then, rescuers would be met with another sound.
All companies working 7741 Liberty Road Drive. Evacuate structure. Per command, all companies working 7741 Liberty Road Drive, evacuate structure.
Command all companies, this will be defensive at this time. We'll be ready for this side to collapse. Everybody get out of the collapse zone. Confirming you are coming out, but you're not out of the building. 10-4, we are on our way out.
With the order being made for all of them to evacuate, as by this point, the structure was engulfed in flames and a collapse was imminent. The firefighters tried to call out to the two in one last attempt to guide them towards rescue, but they never came. In fact, at that point, the structure fell eerily silent. They would leave that structure without DeMonte or Ruben, and minutes later, the fire consumed the entire building, with the temperature inside reaching 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
RP to a real one! RP to DeMonte, man. This is sad. This is sad. Oh my God. And then you have to listen, you got to hear that radio communications as they're getting burnt up to a crisp, like the Fantastic Four Human Torch, right? They're hearing the communication, everyone's evacuating, everyone's left, and you can't do nothing about it. You're there. Jeez Louise. Nani, I'm working right now. My name's an actual 9 to 5. I can't remember everything. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Before...
Good. Appreciate you. Bro, that's insane.
It would eventually topple to the ground. And inside, DeMonte and Ruben would become the sole fatalities of this catastrophe.
Bro, like you said earlier, Bachi, this place is haunted. It will forever be haunted. You know what I'm saying?
Let's say that you were streaming and you were in the fire. Would you jump off the building for 100 gifted?
Bro, I'm jumping off for free. I'm jumping off for yeah, absolutely. I'm jumping off for 100 gifted. I'm jumping off for free. Hey, give me 100 pillows. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would jump. I'm scared of heights. I ain't gonna lie. I might be cap. I'm not gonna lie. I might be cap because I'm actually scared of heights. I don't know. That's tough. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do the parkour stuff before the fire gets too bad. But like,
cat emoji.
But why? Because you'd be gone, wouldn't be able to enjoy it. But like, if I'm on the 6th floor, and there's a fire and the hallway is blocked, right? The hallway is blocked. I'm gonna have to do something. I'm the type of person where I'm going to yell, I'm going to scream and act like a little bee, but I'm going to attempt to find a solution at the same time as I'm screaming and I'm yelling. You know, I'm moving around. I'm like flight or flight. I'm not gonna just sit there. To be honest, I wouldn't get on my phone and live stream it. Me personally, I couldn't do that. You know what,
bro? Just run though the fire
and become, what is it, Johnny Blaze, the Human Torch? Bro, I'm going to catch on fire. If anything, I would like try, if there's like wooden planks, like it's under construction, right? So if I'm thinking it's under construction, I'm thinking that the halls are hollow, but there might be plyboard, right? I might try and kick the plyboard down and try and throw that on the fire. For a brief second, the fire won't be engulfed. You know, if you catch it very early on, after 2 hours, it's GG's. You're done for, because now the
you're going to die either way.
On fire. But you're going to die either way. But I'm going to try and find a solution before I just give up. I love life too much. You know what I'm saying? Barbecue facts.
Yo, I'm at South
Park
right
least,
now.
And then
at work.
And not to take away from these two gentlemen that had passed away, right? Because I'm pretty sure that they tried to do what I'm saying. They already tried to do it. I'm like 1,000% sure. I will never watch this live stream. This is not a movie. This is real life. I will never watch this live stream ever. I will never be curious enough to actually, DeMonte Farrell or DeMonte Cheryl. Like, I'm not weird like that. People are weird, man. Well, why would you want to? This is not a movie. This is real life. Why would you want to see this? You know?
The building on fire.
But you're going to die either way.
Get out. It's getting harder and harder for them to see.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna try and looking at this. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna try and slide through I'm gonna try and slide through here. If this is the 6th floor and this is the 5th floor, I'm gonna try and slide through here and go down. I'm probably gonna get hurt. I'm going to injure myself. But at that point, bro, I'm desperate. You know what I'm saying? Wait, no, we're
Knowing how
gonna
the
play
story
schedule 1 after
ends
this.
would make this live stream difficult for anyone to watch.
We're not
But
doing
what I
nothing.
find
No, we're playing schedule 1 after this.
most
We're going to
upsetting about
sleep.
it
No, I'm not. Hey, live till 5.
is that the majority of those who initially watched this were his own friends and family that followed him on Facebook, with these viewers including his own mother. And
See, that's what I said earlier. I wouldn't do it because my mom's gonna be heartbroken. Could you imagine watching your offspring dying?
a lot of them probably had no idea he even worked this job.
This is
as he
crazy.
had just been hired that week. His brother had also caught the stream as it was happening and actually rushed over to the scene where he pleaded with the firefighters to watch the footage. But despite doing the best they could, there was just too much working against them to save DeMonte and
I'll take a broken leg and arm to die. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have a broken collarbone, everything, but I would at least attempt to slide through through the slots. You know what I'm saying? I would attempt to. I'm not saying it's going to be successful. I'm not being insensitive. I'm just saying what I would do. You know what I'm saying?
Ruben.
I need water.
Following an investigation into the fire, it was discovered that the crew was using an organic foam insulation, which was known to be extremely flammable and produce thick black smoke. And this became deadly when the machine used to spray that insulation caught fire, sending the whole building up in flames, where they had yet to install any sort of smoke detector or alarm system to alert the crew of a fire. Making matters worse, there had been a temporary set of stairs made right where the two men had been trapped, but that stairwell had just been removed in order to make way for the permanent set of stairs. Because of this and a myriad of other issues.
Bro, they didn't put a fire alarm before they put the insulation in? But you would need a wall. I'm pretty sure that's pretty standard though, right? Because you would need a wall to like have to put it up. You know what I'm saying? Damn, what a catch-22. What if you land on your head? Bro, I'm taking that risk. I don't know what I'll do in that situation. I'm going to be seeing stars. That's what I'm going to be seeing stars. But I'm going to attempt, like I said, I'm not saying that they didn't attempt to, but I know myself. Oh, no, you don't? No, I don't have the advantage.
The companies involved with this construction were forced to pay a fine of $50,000 and are currently being sued by the families of both victims. But regardless,
Tattoo, what do you expect though? Seeing stars is crazy. I must be like, and the star just going like this. You know what I'm saying? But bro,
regardless of the outcome, nothing will ever make up for the loss of DeMonte Sherrill and
RB.
Ruben Holmes.
RB, rest in paradise. May the Lord receive you guys' souls.
Things were getting concerning. Johnny Cashman spoke to his family nearly every single day. But now, on the 6th day without receiving any communication from him, they knew that something was wrong. Johnny lived in Lynchburg, Virginia, hundreds of miles away from his home in Maine, and so
Lynchburg
being
is
unable
crazy.
to check on him themselves, they called police in the area and requested a welfare
How much
check.
ore would you get
Police
if you do a
entered-
superhero landing? Not gonna lie, Tonti, you're going to go splat like a pancake. As soon as you hit the ground like this, if you're jumping out like this, bro, you're gonna jump and you're gonna do a fucking dolphin dive on the concrete. Bro, you're not surviving that. You're zero aura, bro. Zero aura. Your body is gonna be destroyed, bro. What are they gonna put in? They can't even. What are they gonna put your eyeball in the casket? You know what I'm saying? Because your body's just gonna, not like a Spider-Man, like this, bro. This ain't the movie. This is real life. What do you mean like a Spider-Man, bro? He's a broken ankles, broken wrist, everything.
Johnny's apartment on the 19th of April, 2022.
Still
And
splat.
hours later, they would call his parents with the news that they had found their son dead on the floor.
Jesus.
According to the officers, Johnny had experienced some sort of medical event that led to GI bleeding that ultimately claimed his life. But this made no sense to Johnny's family. He was only 38 years old and had just been given a clean bill of health after a full medical exam only
watch
4
Batman?
months prior.
We can have a Discord. We can watch Batman in the Discord. Not tonight, but we'll have a Discord watching event. I'm your hero. That sounded kind of freaky, my boy. We'll have a Discord night. We'll have a Discord night amongst the community. You didn't have to delete it.
It was so out of the blue, in fact, that they even asked if there were any signs of a struggle, or if there was any evidence that he may have taken his own life. But they were assured that there was no trauma, no drugs, and nothing suspicious found on the scene, and that, as shocking as it was, his cause of death was entirely natural, and had likely just been spurred on by drinking and tobacco use, with the only solace being that Johnny didn't suffer, as they stated that he had died instantly. Because of this, no autopsy was performed, as the case seemed as straightforward as it gets. And despite his family questioning if they should get their own autopsy, they were told by officers that it wouldn't be necessary. And so, Johnny's body was cremated and sent back to Maine, in what seemed to be the end of Johnny Cashman's story.
Okay. Nothing strange about that. Did you guys catch anything strange? Let's watch the Minecraft movie.
10 days after Johnny's body was discovered, his ex-girlfriend and her
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We should watch the Minecraft movie. You know of any websites, the bootleg?
mother made their way back to his apartment in order to retrieve some of her belongings. She knew that re-entering the space was going to be difficult, but ultimately there was no way she could have prepared for what was waiting for her inside.
Damn!
There was blood everywhere. It was pooled in the bathrooms, wiped on doors, spread all over the living space, and was even found on a chair and a banister. But the most horrifying part of it all was the walls. They were covered in splattered blood, which revealed long streaking handprints. It was something.
Bro, that means he got stabbed. Someone had to have stabbed him. Someone had to have stabbed him because he was just. You know what I'm saying? I watched Dexter, and that's how it goes. If you get stabbed like that, then it'll be like, and then it'll go all over. You know what I'm saying? I was me. It was you.
Something straight out of a horror movie. And although Johnny's cause of death was
FBI, tag that FBI, tag the CIA. He did it at FBI. Send at CIA. Send.
deemed natural.
Get him! It was Tonsi.
What they found in that apartment seemed anything but.
He said no.
Traumatized by what they were witnessing, the pair snapped multiple photos of the bloodshed and ran out of the unit, directly into Johnny's neighbor. This neighbor revealed that they believed something far worse than a medical emergency had happened to Johnny, as they had a security camera mounted to their door which faced Johnny's unit. And on the day of his passing, it captured something incredibly disturbing.
He got stabbed, either by himself or someone else. It could be self-inflicted or someone else.
The footage shows Johnny making his way up the flight of stairs leading to his apartment at around 3:03 p.m.
Okay. What's back there? What's back there?
Nothing seems out of the ordinary at all, though it is noteworthy that he was holding an empty glass, perhaps insinuating that he had been drinking. But this doesn't seem to impair his movements much at all, as he punches in the code and enters his home, just as he did every other day. But moments later, something happens inside that unit, and while it goes unseen, it doesn't go unheard.
What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Chat, what do you guys think happened? What do you think happened? What do you guys think happened?
Oh, dude, what the fuck? What are you doing? Yo, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing, man?
Nah, there's someone in there. There's someone in there. And I think I heard a dog bark too.
What are you doing, man?
He's geek? Nah. No. I think I'm running out. But see, if you're already getting stabbed, Bachi, like, and you're fighting him, he's like, like, you got you, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be tough and it's gonna be hard. But I don't think he's geek, because even though when he was walking up the stairs, he would have been, if he was like out of his mind like that, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, but I think that he would be talking to himself as he's going up the stairs. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this was self-inflicted. Because he's definitely struggling against something. And whatever that something is winning.
The audio seems to depict a man yelling, asking repeatedly, "What are you doing?" and begging for something to stop. On top of this, you can also hear loud thuds and banging.
He could have got geeked inside? Alright, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but it said this is literally a minute after he goes inside. So within I don't know what drugs hit that fast? A minute? You know what I'm saying? That split moment, I'm grabbing a lamp and I'm running out.
Almost as if things were falling over inside, or there was some sort of physical altercation.
Acid?
Before the unit then goes quiet.
After a minute though, I don't know, man. Never mind. I've never done acid before. I wouldn't know.
Just a few seconds later. It was unclear if this voice was Johnny's, or perhaps someone else who had been inside the unit, but regardless, one thing was apparent from this audio. There was someone else in that apartment, despite the fact that Johnny lived alone. And just 7 minutes later, this unseen person would emerge.
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I got you. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, I knew it. There's no way that he got geeked. I mean, I've heard stories too, but I'm saying I don't think it kicks in a minute. As soon as you get in, you take the tab, then you're just out of this world that fast. Nah, bro, not a minute after. He was definitely getting shanked up. You know what I'm saying? He was getting shanked up, and it's unfortunate, but there's no way that was self-inflicted. He may have owed this guy money. You know what I'm saying? He was getting right. No, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that. But they have to have footage of this guy getting in.
This clearly wasn't Johnny. And after leaving the unit, the anonymous man nearly makes it out of the building.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, I haven't streamed in a month. You know what I'm saying? All the buttons look the same on my stream deck. But I'm trying to tell you, this guy, how do they not have footage of this guy getting into the building?
Before he seems to change his mind.
Don't tell me he looks at the camera.
Turning around and walking back up the stairs before fiddling with the door handle, touching it only with his sleeve, like he
to wipe off the blueprints, right? Or the fingerprints.
He was wiping off his fingerprints.
Yep. He had to have got caught though.
He then walks down the stairs and stops once again, where he seems to be in a state of shock over whatever had just transpired, before he composes himself and walks out of the building.
I need to sub up for real. Bocce, you know what I'm saying? It's $5.99. You know what I'm saying? It's $5.99. We're actually at 20 subs. Right? We're going to be doing the White Chick stream pretty soon. That's going to be a banger stream. That video on YouTube is going to go astronomical.
The footage wasn't quite finished
When?
yet.
Let me configure some things. It might be like 2 weeks from now, right? That might be a week to 2 weeks from now. That's going to be a banger stream. I don't have a commands for subs.
Just 1 minute later, you can hear Johnny shouting for help from inside the apartment.
He was probably in a room, so he finally got out the room and started screaming.
To which moments after, he stops, and no further sound or activity would come from Johnny's unit until police arrived 5 days later.
When did I ask? Smiley face emoji. Smiley face emoji.
You said when? What do you mean? You literally said when, and now you're saying you don't know? What are you talking about? You think you slick? You not, boy. I've seen this one as well. It's also creepy kills. You be watching the most horrific things. You be watching the most darkest corners of the internet. What's up with that, Kels?
The footage and the scene at the apartment seemed to contradict.
Are you a true crime girly?
What Johnny's family had been told about his death. The blood all over made it obvious that Johnny's death had not happened in an instant. And this, coupled by the presence of this unknown man who was clearly distraught and wiping off his fingerprints, as well as the sound of the apparent struggle inside, seemed to point towards something much more sinister than what was initially conveyed to the family. But even with this footage...
Bro, my stomach feels weird, bro. Just imagine, I'm just envisioning getting stabbed and shit. You know what I'm saying? My stomach hurts now. My stomach is hurting.
Police still believed that Johnny's death was due to a medical emergency.
Sometimes, but it freaks me out, so I don't watch them much anymore. Yeah, my stomach hurts. Oh my God.
As they quickly changed their initial story, saying that the blood spread was due to uncontrollable vomiting, and that Johnny had in fact likely suffered, at least for a short while. But this medical emergency wasn't elaborated on, as they didn't truly know what caused it, as no autopsy was ever performed, nor could one ever be performed, as by this point, Johnny was already cremated, and cremated because of the officer's initial statements. So if Johnny...
So they said that he was vomiting? They said that he was vomiting blood. So like no stab wounds or anything like that. But the blood, he was vomiting and it was just going everywhere. That's interesting. So what did that guy have to do with him dying then? How... What?
Johnny had actually been murdered, which the footage does seem to suggest. There was now virtually no way to prove it. And what makes this even more frustrating is that law enforcement already had this footage. It was collected that very day, and they either didn't fully look through it or didn't think that this was overly suspicious. But
how is this not overly suspicious? What if he paid the cop, bro? He had to have an inside man. It could have been his uncle. It could have been his aunt. It could have been someone that was the clerk, the police station clerk. But someone had to have been on the inside for this to not. This is weird. This is very strange. This is very odd.
Everyone else surely did. And soon, this video began making the rounds online, leading to one glaring question being asked.
Did he do it?
Who is this man? As no one in Johnny's life recognized him.
Did he do it?
Well, it wouldn't be until May 11th that investigators would finally ID him as Stephen Church. And upon being questioned, he revealed that he had moved to Lynchburg for work, but the opportunity he had lined up fell through shortly after he arrived, leaving him with no money and without a place to stay, which is when he met Johnny, who offered to let him crash on his couch.
Chat, are you guys letting a random person crash on your couch that you just met? Are you allowing this person to sleep at your home? Johnny, from this alone, seems like he had a very good soul, right? A very nice person, right? A very good soul, but there's just no way that I'm doing that. There's no way. This is where my daughter sleeps. I wouldn't have even asked that. You know what I'm saying? That's tough. That's tough. It's always the people that are the most nicest and the most naivest that get done the most dirtiest in this lifetime. And that's unfortunate and that sucks.
He supposedly stayed with Johnny for 3 days, and described Johnny as an alcoholic who drank constantly, including on that fateful day. When Johnny arrived home, Stephen claims that he started drunkenly yelling at him about paying rent, which led to the two getting into a verbal altercation. But he insisted that this altercation never turned physical, and that he left immediately after, to which he quickly went back to clean his prints because he was afraid that Johnny would try and have him arrested for squatting. And having already racked up 2 felonies in his life, Stephen was paranoid about going back to jail.
You didn't even do the Carfax on him? He didn't even do the Carfax for him? What's going on? Bro, I'm pre-gaming for Saturday? What's going on Saturday?
But when Stephen was leaving, he did mention seeing Johnny hunched over the toilet as if he were going to vomit. But he claims to have left before this so-called medical emergency started. This is the gist of Stephen's account from that day. But the problem is, it doesn't really match up with what we're hearing in the video.
Yeah, and if the cops have this is negligence. This is not due diligence. They did not do the due diligence at all on this matter, on this case. They said, oh, well, I don't want to investigate it. Hey, cops, let's go ahead and get some donuts and coffee. What the fuck? This is crazy. 2 felonies crazy? I agree.
From the footage, we can hear
he didn't do a background check. He didn't do none. He just willingly invited a demon into his house. That's insane. Are you about to go to a party? Turn up, my boy. Turn up.
Everything going on in that unit. But at no point do we...
Give me a hug. Hey, when you go into the party and then there's some bad chicks for you, you walk in, you got to play that Nokia. It's Nokia by Drake. Give me a hug, give me a hug. And you got to just keep playing it till some chick gives you a hug. You know what I'm saying? That's the meta right now.
We hear any sort of an argument, nor do we hear anything about rent, with the phrases lending themselves more to a physical struggle rather than a verbal one. In fact, the whole time it appears that we're only hearing one voice. But there is an exception.
We drove 30 minutes for a prom after party?
To my knowledge, it's never...
Sheesh! Have fun, my boy. High school's a fun time. Keep your free game. That wasn't no game. That wasn't no game. That's not getting the huzz. That's not getting the huzz.
Never been conclusively determined whose voice is who in the recording, and either scenario paints a far different picture of what may have happened inside that room. But regardless, this audio makes it clear that Stephen's story was fabricated at least to some degree, as he also fails to account for the loud banging in the background. And because of this, his version of events is generally rejected, with most people seeming to believe one of 2 main theories. The first is that, upon arriving home, Johnny and Stephen had gotten into a physical altercation, resulting in Johnny taking some sort of blow to his abdomen, which in turn triggered or exacerbated this medical emergency. GI bleeds.
I'm scanning the has.
Are horrific and can certainly cause the level of bleeding that was found in the apartment. And perhaps seeing all the blood coming from Johnny, Steven started yelling at him before deciding to run off, fearing that he would be charged for murder. This would explain Steven's demeanor and actions after leaving the apartment, and why he may have fabricated his story, as he knew or knows that he was directly responsible for Johnny's death. And this blow to the abdomen could have easily been
But if he fabricated his story, that means he lied to the cops. And that's a felony. If he lied to the cops, that's a felony.
missed by investigators, as the injuries would have been primarily internal.
If someone does that at my party,
The
I'm
second
kicking them
theory
out.
is that upon arriving home, Johnny
Damn, you're strict.
naturally experienced a medical emergency leading to this catastrophic GI bleed. Upon seeing this and perhaps being in a state of shock, Steven yelled at him, demanding to know what was happening and telling him to stop, as perhaps he was moving around the apartment and tracking blood everywhere, which would explain the other voice saying, "I can't stop." I could see how this experience would make no sense to Steven, and perhaps just having no idea what was happening, he left.
Bro, no, that makes absolute sense though. I think he just unlocked the case because that makes absolute sense. That makes total sense.
And tried to make it look like he was never there, as he was afraid of being blamed for whatever was happening to Johnny. And so he essentially left Johnny there to die.
That makes
whether
sense.
knowingly or unknowingly. What bothers me about this theory is why 911 was never called, not only by Steven, but by Johnny too, as his phone was found in the unit with blood on it.
Bro, he is dying. He literally is projectile vomiting. Blood everywhere. Everywhere. I think that's the last thing I'm thinking. Oh, call 911. No. Like, you know?
Implying that he had it in his hand at some point, though it's possible that the massive blood loss just made him too disoriented.
Yeah.
Both of these theories seem believable, or at least more so than the explanation that Steven had given. However, in October of 2022, Johnny's case would officially be closed for good, with Steven being cleared of any wrongdoing, as Johnny's death was labeled the same way that it always has been, a medical emergency that couldn't be further elaborated on, with the most relevant evidence being that Steven's shoe prints were not found in the blood, but Johnny's were, implying that he had not been part of the struggle. But in my mind, this can be explained by both theories mentioned previously. Though regardless, without the possibility of an autopsy, this is likely where this case ends for good. But with this disturbing footage, I can't help but think that there was more to the story than we may ever know.
I'm not gonna lie, the transient, Johnny's quote-unquote homie, bro, he's lucky. Bro, he's so lucky, because if he did have any involvement in that, he got off scot-free in the internet era where there's cameras everywhere. Like, come on now. He got super lucky. He's still on there in the free world? Yeah. Yeah, bro, he's lucky that he's still in the free world.
It was around 7:30 a.m. on a warm July morning back in 2019. 17-year-olds Bethany Martin and a 16-year-old friend decide to...
What I eat for dinner? I had some curry for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Some chicken Penang curry with over some rice. It was bussin'. Courtesy of my girlfriend.
Walk to a gas station near their home in San Antonio, Texas. And as the two of them made their way down the road, their path brought them parallel.
Can we play
to
the
a
game? Damn, man, let me finish the reaction. Look, I gotta finish the reaction first. It's going on YouTube. I gotta finish it.
Ditch, which was often filled with various trash and other discarded material. But on this day, something far more interesting caught their eye. It looked like a man crouching down and leaned up against one of the concrete walls. But the closer they got, the more they realized how unusual his posture was. He looked completely unnatural, and he wasn't moving. And by the time they came face to face with him, the reality of the situation would hit them. They had just found a dead body. This discovery
Chat, what are you guys doing if you found a dead body? What's the first reaction? What's your guys' first reaction?
was enough to traumatize anyone, especially two teenagers. And upon calling the police and being sent on their way, Bethany and her friend would make the long walk back home, contemplating what to do next, before they eventually landed on the idea of sharing their experience with the world. And so, as soon as they got in the door, they began to set up lights and their camera in order to film a TikTok.
Away. Damn, so no one's just gonna call 911? No one is gonna be like, yo, I found a dead body. Please, I don't know, but I was just walking and I seen his dead body. Niggas talking about he's walking away and hitting the gritty. What? Yeah, they're sick for this. If they didn't call 911 and they're doing this bro, we're losing recipes as a society. This is crazy.
The clip showed the two sitting on a couch appearing to be in a state of shock, with the words, "Us remembering we found a dead body this morning," plastered on the screen, offering no other context aside from the description, which simply read, "I wish we were kidding, all respect to the family." Some offered sympathy for the girls, while others viewed their post as insensitive and exploitative.
Bro, some offered sympathy? Oh my God, he saw a dead body. Oh my God, why would you even put that on the internet? Bro, anything for clout. What are we talking about? What? Why would they do that? Why would they do that?
But others weren't even convinced.
Anything for some clicks and some likes, bro, nowadays. This is disgusting. And looking at that, they might charge me with the murder. Possibly.
It was real, partially due to this glaring lack of context. But any doubt of this post's legitimacy would be.
And she's smiling. So she comes out and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know, but you guys are bullying me and this, that." She literally has a smile on her face.
Quickly thwarted by a discovery made not even one full day later, as it was revealed that this recording hadn't actually been the only video that these two girls had made on that fateful day.
Could you imagine like filming and then you look back at it and be like, I don't like the angle. Let's do it. Let's set the phone over here. Bro, what?
On their walk to the gas station, the girls had stumbled across the body of 25-year-old Marcus Adams, with the young man having seemingly perished earlier that morning, with it being apparent that he had taken his own life. But upon finding Marcus, the girls weren't actually overwhelmed with sadness or even shock, as instead, their focus immediately went to something far different, as something on the man's body had caught their attention. His necklace. The girls really liked it. In fact, the unnamed 16-year-old had said that it matched her fashion perfectly. And so, before police arrived, the two would once again pull out their phone and start recording, showing Bethany approaching the—
Bro, they robbed a dead body. They robbed a dead body. Bro, what are we bro, Tonsi, they robbed a
body, with her intention being to grab his necklace, which she eventually does, removing the medallion and giving it to her friend, before tossing the
And you know what the thing is? They probably didn't even like snatch it off his neck. They probably like moved the head, undid the clasp to make sure that the necklace didn't break or anything. Bro, this is sick. This is crazy.
Chain into the grass nearby, leading to the girls running away from the scene. The 16-year-old would then post that video onto her Snapchat story for all of her close friends to see. I can't show the footage for obvious reasons, but it's truly awful. And just based on the audio alone, you can tell that they're very obviously having fun doing this.
You gotta do it now. Now or never. Here, hold me. I got it.
Nah, they recorded themselves stealing from a dead body?
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god.
Bro, are you serious? Bro, y'all are fucked up. Y'all young folks, y'all are messed up, bro. Not everything has to be for the internet. See, they're gonna charge them with murder. Bro, they robbed a dead person. They deserve it. They robbed a dead person, and worse, they literally recorded it. They said, here, officers, here's the information. I mean, and here's the evidence for y'all. Here's the evidence for y'all. Here you go. Here. Listen, look what we just did. Bro, yeah, they're stupid. I almost called them a retard. They're not. They're stupid. Oh my God, that's crazy.
There's something so uniquely disturbing about it.
What?
It's clear that upon finding the body, there was no real emotional impact on them. At least none that outweighed their desire to steal from it.
Who's y'all? I'm talking about y'all generation that need to record everything. Bro, everything doesn't need to be recorded. And the thing is, Bachi, they could have got a way out of it. They could have got out of it if they just called the 911 right then and there. Because after they do the autopsy and they know that they literally, that the person did self-harm to himself, right? You're going to be exonerated. There's going to be nothing involved. And you got to think about the family and stuff. Like, bro, you're doing the family is a good service too. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the family a good service too. Bro, but you need proof? Bro, listen. Listen, the proof is Snapchat. They uploaded their own proof. What do you mean? Okay, let's see if this works.
As if
Let's see if it
stealing
works.
from
Let's
this
see if it
man who had
works.
just taken his own life and posting it for all their friends to see as if it were a joke wasn't horrible enough. They then immediately posted this other video to TikTok in an attempt to garner sympathy. It's truly awful. And made
Bro, then they posted a video to garner sympathy, bro.
Even more appalling by reports that claim that the 16-year-old had actually worn this medallion in the TikTok video and in others made following its posting. And unfortunately, their actions had even more upsetting consequences, as the footage from their Snapchat story was quickly downloaded.
Bro, clip farming to the absolute max. Bro, they're hate farming at this point. You know what I'm saying? They're dead farming. They're dead body farming. Whatever you guys want to call the farming it is. This is fucked up farming. That's what that is. That's fucked up farming. This is crazy. Yo, Josette, I appreciate you so much for adding that sub. That's actually a great sub or a great command to add. But I appreciate you, Josette. I appreciate you. What happened to them?
Downloaded by someone they knew and posted onto an app called Nextdoor,
They
with
didn't
the
say,
footage
yeah.
being totally uncensored. And it was on this app where it's claimed that many of Marcus Adams' own family members would see the footage, many of whom weren't even aware that he was deceased. Just one day after posting this TikTok, both girls were questioned by the police after the incident and the footage was reported to them. And
what was the sub? Oh, no. You have to do command SUBS. And then you could automatically sub to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, type shit. I'm proud of myself. That was my first time creating command. I didn't even know you could do that. I appreciate you so much. Grave robbers. Bro, facts. Bro.
and as a result, Bethany would be charged with theft of a human corpse, but would ultimately avoid any serious jail time.
Oh, she's lucky.
Meanwhile, the 16-year-old's name and charges were never publicly released, but we do know that the medallion was returned to the family. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Bethany would later come back to her TikTok page shortly after her arrest.
And she did a press run. She did a PR. She said the truth. I'm the only one who went to jail. My friend snitched on me. What's good with you, Scobby Scobs in the fucking building? What's good? Dropping out the Benny was so high. This is chain anthem, better go hard. If you in the chat, better go hard. Big and a low. Spam them W's. You gotta spam a W or two, you know what I'm saying? What's good, you Scobby Scobs in the building? How was your night going so far? How are you? You know what I'm saying? What did you do today? What we're doing, L. What do you mean, L? What do you mean, L? I'm trying to hype up Scobby Scobs. You know what I'm saying? Slob on the knobs. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to tell me a L?
And share her side of the
Tough
story,
crowd.
where she gave a less than half-hearted apology.
Where's the
while also
tequila at? Nigga, I got work in the morning. I can't be drinking tonight. And I swear I'm drinking like 3 days in a row. So I need to chill out. I got work in the morning. But I appreciate you for pulling up. Yo, Scobs, now that you're here, I want to ask you, if you could watch your favorite streamer play any 3 games, what would those 3 games be? Same thing with you, Tonti. Were you pre-gaming for Saturday? Nah, bro. I'm an adult, so you know what I'm saying? I just drink just to drink. I don't got a pre-game for a certain day. I just say, fuck it, I'm going to drink and take a shot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Claiming to be the victim, saying that her friend had pressured her to steal from Marcus, as well as pressured her into making that TikTok in the first place.
So she's going to throw the accountability on someone else. Bro, this is an ain't shit woman.
Because she thought it would be a hit. Though obviously this didn't go over well.
Yeah. I'm glad that you got hate comments. That's insane. One of my friends pre-gamed all week for a party that he couldn't even go to. Bro, he got drunk all week just to go to a party he couldn't go to. Damn. She needs some milk?
On December...
No. I don't know what the pronouns for this individual is.
20th, 1984, 12-year-old Janelle Matthews disappeared from her home in Greeley, Colorado in the evening hours.
Okay.
Earlier that day, she had sung at a Christmas...
She needs church or she needs Jesus? She needs Jesus. It's giving cult vibes. Yeah, no, this is actually kind of, this might be very innocent, but they add the grainy film to it to make it look like a lot more darker. You know what I'm saying? To make it look scary. Holy Bible vibes.
Concert with her school's choir, which her parents were unable to attend, as her mother was out of town and her father had gone to her sister's basketball game nearby, leading to Janelle catching a ride home with a friend, being dropped off at her house sometime around 8:15, where she excitedly spoke to her father on the phone, letting him know that she had arrived home safe and sound. Approximately 1 hour later, her father, Jim Matthews, pulled into the driveway to find the garage door
Holy tequila. Adios míos.
wide open, and the house completely empty. Janelle was gone, leaving behind her winter coat and even her shoes, despite it being
sad.
a frigid, snowy night.
That's
And it was
sad.
within that snow that was quickly piling up that lie one of the only real clues left behind at the scene. Footprints, leading directly to one of the home's windows, insinuating that someone had been watching Janelle.
12-year-old Janelle Matthews disappeared from her Greeley home 1 month ago today. It's believed she's the victim of a kidnapping. She has not been seen or heard from since December 20th.
Her disappearance became a big news story almost immediately.
Bro, his glasses are so crooked on his head. I know this is very sad, but like, look at his glasses. Look how slanted. Like, they're talking about snow. Someone could like literally just ski down here. You know what I'm saying? Like a mountain, just skiing down. That's crazy.
With the whole community.
No one told him. He's going on national TV. No one told him that his eyeglasses were crooked. Little bro, I'm getting scared. I'm sorry. My apologies. September 20th. That is close to my birthday. Well, happy early birthday, Bachi. 5 months away. Happy early birthday.
And really the whole country becoming invested in the fate of this girl, thanks in large part to her being one of the very first milk carton kids, meaning that her face and information about her disappearance was shown on countless milk cartons all across the country to get the word out. And as a result, this case
What do you want for your birthday? You can get a sub. I got you with a sub.
Became huge in the mainstream media, as even politicians began to make note of Janelle's story, with then-President Ronald Reagan mentioning the girl in one of his speeches.
I learned about Jonelle Matthews of Greeley, Colorado, 5 days before Christmas. Jonelle disappeared from her home.
I want a Hellcat. Do you think I got SRT Hellcat money? Bro, do you think I got Hellcat money? I would have a Hellcat money. I would have a Hellcat. Actually, I would never have a Hellcat. But if I had a Hellcat money, you think I would be driving an ID4 Volkswagen? No, I would not, sir. I'll be driving like Grand Cherokee or something fancy. You know what I'm saying? Ask your mom for it. Ask your pop. But don't ask me.
Though even with this publicity,
Hellcat would be nice
necessarily guarantee
like
results.
16th, 17th birthday, I'll be
and
fire.
soon, months
you be stunned on everyone. You know what I'm saying? You drive a Kia. I definitely do not drive a Kia. Little bro, I drive a Volkswagen. You feel me? I drive that V-Dub.
would turn to you.
Fun fact, you know who also makes Ferraris? Not Ferraris. Lamborghinis. And a whole bunch of other nice whips of Volkswagen. That use Volkswagen's engine. You feel me?
Years, and eventually to decades.
I'm not going to lie, shout out to all the people that drive Kias, but I could never drive a Kia.
And all the while, Janelle's whereabouts remained a complete mystery. Eventually, the rise of the internet would start to play
Just take the bus, and that's no, because no, listen. Just take the bus. I don't like taking the bus because I like to be on my time. I don't like to be on other people's time. What happens if the bus time is 8:20 a.m.? I get that at 8:17, but the bus got there at 8:14. Now I have to wait a whole other 20 minutes because the person wanted to be extra early, or they can be 10 to 15 to 20 minutes late. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. No. I want to be on my time in my own wheels that I worked hard for. You know what I'm saying? I drive that fishbowl take whip. You have a fishbowl? There ain't nothing wrong with it. Put some tints on it. It won't be a fishbowl no more. You feel
where
me?
Even in the late 2010s,
I'll gap you with your car,
3
you would
decades
never.
after she had
I would
vanished,
dust you, my boy.
her case was still being shared and still being discussed, just as it had been 3 decades prior.
That bus
but
ain't
still
it?
being a point of
I'm trying to
contention
tell
for
you.
politicians, even as recently as 2019. When a man running for governor of Idaho mentioned her disappearance in a Facebook post, 35 full years later. Regardless of Janelle's whereabouts, her case was still very much alive.
Bro, he put something up so insensitive. I hate when people make things about themselves. Bro, he said there is no closure. My son, blah, blah, blah. Bro, he's making it about himself. Bro, listen. Just pay your respects and move on. You know what I'm saying? The party bus. But the party bus can only be accessible, right, in certain situations. You wouldn't want to pull up to work on a party bus. You're getting fired. You wouldn't want to pull up in a party bus to college or high school. High school might be lit, but at college, no sorry, Bob. All right. But at nighttime, during the weekend, that's active. You feel me? Bro, that little Ford Lightning got a V8 engine and a supercharger. Bro, listen, a Ford Lightning I thought was electric. If it's electric, it doesn't have a V8 engine in it because it's electric. If it's a hybrid between the two, I could understand. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to tell you, my car is fast as fuck too. My car is just as fast as a Tesla. Not the Plaid, but the other ones. You know what I'm saying? The Model 3, the lowest one.
As the world, and especially Janelle's parents, were haunted by the question, what happened to Janelle Matthews? But sure enough, in late 2019, they would finally get their answer.
Bones found in Weld County earlier this week appeared to bring an end to a 3-decade-long search for a missing 12-year-old girl. The Greeley Tribune is reporting they are those of Jonelle Matthews.
She was buried?
On Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019, at roughly 4:50 p.m., a crew had been digging in an isolated field in Weld County, Colorado, in order to install a new pipeline, when they would uncover the decayed remains of a little girl. It was Janelle,
oh my God,
still wearing those clothes that she had worn to her recital, meaning she had likely died the very day she disappeared, having been killed by a single gunshot wound to the head.
So, okay, you gotta be a sick, nasty, perverted individual to shoot a 12-year-old in the head? What are we doing? Come on, why are humans so disgusting? 3 decades is insane. 3 decades is insane. That's so sad for the family.
Janelle Matthews had been murdered in cold blood.
I got you.
And almost immediately upon finding her body, the police would also zero in on their suspect. The man's name was...
Was she got buried alive? No, they said that she had a bullet in her head. She said the narrator said that she got shot in the head at 12 years old by a single bullet wound.
Stephen Pankey, and at the time of Janelle's disappearance, he had been living in the same general area in Colorado. But by 2019, Stephen had long since fled the area, as after the crime, he would eventually pack up seemingly out of the blue and move to Idaho, where when Janelle's body was discovered, he just so happened to be running for governor.
The governor did it?
And during his campaign, Pankey had put out a bizarre Facebook post about Janelle, calling for the Colorado DA to oversee a fresh investigation, as he stated that the local police had wrongly been focused on the theory that Janelle's disappearance was a child abduction and murder, which was quite convenient, as just a few months after posting this, he would be arrested for the abduction and murder of Janelle Matthews. Police believe that Janelle had first caught Stephen's eye when he was working as a janitor at the church she attended, with this leading to him stalking her and eventually abducting her on that fateful night, where he threw Janelle in his car and ultimately ended her life, for no reason other than his sick satisfaction. He then proceeded to bury her in a field 20 miles away, in a spot that he was certain no one would ever find her. Now, the evidence supporting this is mainly circumstantial, but it is incredibly concerning. Just one day after Janelle's abduction, Pankey decided to take his wife to California in order to celebrate the holidays with his parents, with this trip being completely unplanned, as his wife was only told of it literally the day of. And making things stranger, when they returned home, Stephen's car conveniently caught fire and was burned to a crisp, to which he offered no explanation for. But in response, he would take the car to a local scrapyard where it would be even further destroyed.
This was just to make sure that there's like no evidence, you know what I'm saying, no DNA or anything inside, right?
Taking any potential evidence along with it.
Now you gotta make that reaction of Nani no way. Oh, should that be a new emote? Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Did you guys screenshot it? Screenshot it. One more time. Screenshot it. I'm gonna hold it for 10 seconds. All right. Whoever screenshotted that, send it to me in Discord, please.
But while this is all strange enough, police say that the main indicator that Stephen was their man
gotta clip it?
was his clear obsession with Janelle's case. Shortly after Stephen began listening and watching any news reports he could on Janelle's case, while also having his wife read every single article about the missing girl out loud, to which he would often have her repeat them over and over again. But his obsession didn't stop there, as he would then start frequently calling the police, wanting to talk to them about the case, even going as far as to give them potential leads, as he claimed to be fearful that he was going to be blamed for the crime, despite having seemingly never even met her. And it was during some of these many unusual phone calls that he was said to have given details on her disappearance that were never actually made public. His obsession was—
Bro, Tonto, you're an asshole. What do you mean draw he said John Louis in his mouth? What the fuck? What's so funny? She died. Oh, you're an asshole, bro. You're an asshole.
Entirely
I'm not laughing at the lady. I'm laughing at the comment.
Penny, bringing up her disappearance at random even decades later, with his Facebook post being a perfect example. And as it turns out, one of Stephen's most—
bad PR. That's bad PR.
Most incriminating statements came as a result of something he mentioned in that infamous message. In it, Stephen says that his son Carl had been murdered in 2008, which is in fact true, as the murder was actually fully solved, with it being confirmed that Stephen had nothing to do with it. But when he was mourning the loss of Carl—
that was like way after the fact, though. That was way after the fact, because wasn't this in 1984?
something unusual happened. His now ex-wife recalled that following Carl's death, Pinky never once cried until the day before his memorial service, where she watched him from a distance walk up to their son's urn and begin to sob, eventually blurting out, "I hope God didn't allow this to happen because of Janelle Matthews."
That was his karma.
Despite maintaining his innocence to this day, Pinky was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 2040, his conviction coming 12,634 days after Janelle Matthews' disappearance, with Pinky's cryptic Facebook post serving as a dark relic of his twisted obsession that would eventually expose him as Janelle's killer.
GG's. Oh my God.
It ain't no thing to sabotage. It ain't no thing to let it fly. I'm on the way, I'm on my grind. It ain't a crime to get what's mine.